Ugh. Yeah, as you can tell by my lovely bedhead that most of my Memorial weekend's been sleeping or playing video games all day and not leaving the house. It's so bright out here. Anyways, I thought I would do somewhat of an update on the F350. I'm building a goofy bumper for it. It's going to be a temporary Mad Max vehicle. So I think I've already posted the leg pipes on there. Maybe I didn't. I'll show them again anyways, why not? But today I have to I haven't woken up yet. I have to replace the turn signal switch. This is it, guys. You get raw footage, raw video, uncut, edited from reverse gear. That's how I roll. But anyways, let's go out there and show you why I'm having to change the turn signal. And where I got mine was eBay for 42, like 75, one of those weird ones. I'll show you the brand. But the thing is, everybody's selling this brand, so why go pay 80 bucks at big name parts place? Somebody did buy one from big name parts place, and we'll show you why that didn't work. Here we go. You can see this. I can't because the sun's blinding me right now. But anyways, this is my dangerous Mad Max style bumper. Winch does work. It's a mile marker, but it's really just a Harbor Freight in disguise. Yeah, this is my bumper with nice sharp pointy things and these things on here. Pretty much dubbing this thing the dog killer, because unfortunately if I had a dog with it, I'm pretty sure it would jack it up pretty good. So try not to hit any dogs with it. People on the other hand, try as hitting many people as I can. Go and sit here. I haven't changed the door yet. I fixed that though from the accident. Somebody drove it. Oh yeah, there's the side pipes if you haven't seen them. They sound cool as hell, and they also actually sound like the last V8 car. It's got a nice rumble. So there you go. I've already started partially. Found the right screws. Got smart for once. Stuck my steering remover screws in there. 2 places you could thread it in. I got the little knobby that's not a point. It's not flat. It's kind of got a cone to it, or what do you call it? Concave? Yeah, concave, convex. I think it's concave. Anyways, this little mount on there. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can jerk it off. So that's installed. I've already started. Now, turn signal switch sounds good, right? Yeah, everything sounds good. I think even the hazards still work. Yeah, they sound like they work, but I'm not sure if they work. Because even the turn signal, I ain't got the key in it, but turn signal makes noise. And I'll show you why it doesn't work. Because instead of installing it the right way, somebody decided to drill a hole in the side of the column. You know, the part that moves. So yeah, it eventually cut the wires. Now, on a General Motors car, and I haven't checked this one, but I'm pretty sure on a General Motors car, yes, it can be a bear to get those wires down on the column, because they don't have a specific tube. They just have slots, and it runs right next to the steering column and that. But Ford, for the most part, they have this protective tube that goes in there. So, I don't know why he did it this way. I might be wrong on this one, and we'll find out in a moment. But, yeah. I mean, if it's got the protective tube, why would you do that? I mean, you can willy-nilly as long as you don't jam the wires in a big bunch. Yes, I don't know if this is the right tool for the job, but it's laying on the ground, okay? So you just give it a crank. It doesn't take much. Hard to do with one hand. Let me go get the right tool. What is that about? I'm going to say that's a 5/8. Always when you're doing a video like this, you should probably have your tools ready at hand. But I say, why not? Why not just do it the dumb Kevin way? I don't know if you can see me. I think the camera's around there somewhere. Let's see. And of course, these tools are just laying on the ground somewhere, because the way I work anymore is to make sure the least amount of stuff gets done. And yeah, it's not where it's supposed to be. Not where it's supposed to be. Oh, it's under this brake drum here. Oh look, there's a whole bunch of tools. Hey, there's that ratchet I was probably looking for. 5/8. Over here, let's say we get more proper tools, like a screwdriver. also doesn't appear to be where it's supposed to be. Here's a close enough. Where's the screwdriver? Whatever. Maybe we'll walk by it on the way out. Nope. Strange. Oh well. Let's try this again. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Maybe I get a knee up on here. Oh, I was wrong, wasn't I? Take two. Okay, let's try this again. Now that I got the right 9/16 wrench. Oh, look how easy that was. Actually, I was smart and loosened it up since I'm working with one hand. So after that, you pull the steering wheel off. I usually leave the adapter on it. Now here, I'm going to take this out because this thing has never lit up. It doesn't really matter because now I have the fancy usshift.com quick one controller because I don't need anything more than this for just a tow vehicle. Because I get this. That explains why that never worked. There's no bulb in there. This technically still lights up, or I mean not lights up. That's a dumb statement. But anyways, this still technically works even though I put it in park. But it still clicks through pretty close to where, this is where maybe it starts getting, no, it still works. You might wonder, well, why does that matter? Well, it's no longer a C6 transmission. It is a E40D 4-speed. But they still, I guess, they still have the B1 to D, but then the D has a circle around it, meaning overdrive. I don't have a, normally if on the Ford you have doot 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 to turn off the overdrive. I don't care. There's other ways I could turn it off. I have it aggressively set at like 45 miles an hour or something to where it goes to 4th gear and at the same time locks up the torque converter. Since I'm going for gas mileage, not performance. When I first set this thing, man, it was set to like, let's shift at 9,000 RPMs. And it was like a race car. So anyways, looks like there is, I'm doing this with you, I don't know how many screws are there. It looks like there's 4. One weird one over here, and 3 around the thing, which I understood. You get a repair kit for this, because normally this is the thing that why I won't cancel is because these break off and blah 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 stuff. Anyways, yeah, so you can, I think you get that at AutoZone practically, or Checker in the help section. So yeah, 4 screws. Let's do it on camera instead of off camera because everybody likes to watch a guy spend an hour unscrewing screws, right guys? Yep. It's a favorite part of the videos for me anyways. But then again, I like watching boring stuff. 1 screw. These wires. Damn, this was, no, I guess they're just really dirty, honestly. They don't look very new for a new switch. I know the switch is somewhat new. Well, I guess I should say new as in I've owned this truck. That screw's shorter. Just better make sure to put those in there right, unless he already stuck them in wrong. But anyways, I've already owned this truck for like, wow, 5 years or so. We pretty much bought this truck when we bought this house not too long after. Well, yeah, somebody did not stick these screws in right, as you can tell, since I don't know if he lost the screws or what he did. This is weird. Because they don't really feel like they're attached to anything. And I assure you, I did not loosen them pre-hand. Yeah, I guess that one's still kind of in there, maybe. That's weird. But then again, this is also a... Oh, yeah. Before you get this out, somewhere I have a chrome one, too. I don't know what I did with it. Because I thought, let's make it match that. So yeah, you can unscrew this sucker. Ta-da! Set that somewhere to be lost. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, you pull those screws out. Sucker's loose. And now, to trace this down to where the wiring connector is. We can feel it because it's there, so it's like right here. Wow, some more of the wires are ripped out down here or stretched. And the connector looks like it's pretty well hammered from taking apart so many times. We'll just take it off camera. Okay, now that I get the connector apart, now here's the pain in the neck. And I will have to stop and at a point, and so I can take a photo of this. That's how I normally, when I have to take a wiring connector apart and need to figure out where the wires go, is just take a detailed photo of it on your phone. Then you can pull the wires out. Make sure that you show the round or which way it goes, like the connector goes, so you don't get them backwards. This one's a weird shaped connector, so it should be pretty easy. It also looks at some time before somebody broke this connector because of its shape, that it probably, sorry, lost the camera, sorry, probably connected to the column somewhere. Also, while I'm here, I was right. Here's the magic Ford channel tube, whatever, that you don't have to worry about it running the wires, and so I don't understand why he did it this way, because now that you get this out of here, that switch, by the way, or wire, is the is for the park neutral switch, which I'm not even sure if I even run anymore. I think I do, because technically it's built into the E40D tranny. So here you go. Here's this genius installation of the thing. I'll have to take the connectors, which just doesn't make any sense. If the problem was you didn't want to take the connector apart, which you have to anyways because you don't get a connector. I forgot to show you this. Shabar Incorporated. This is the one everybody's selling anyways. They may rebag it, but see that? No connector, so I don't know what the point of doing it this way was. So you're gonna have to stuff the wires back up, or I'm gonna have to do this a completely different way, unless you got the same kind of person previously working on your vehicle. So yeah, I guess it could be kind of a pain to get down to that tube that's down there, but in theory you could just take this off if you wanted to. Just be careful of the bearing, the clip, and all that, getting it back in. But yeah, I don't know. Or you just run you can cut these wires if you wanted to. If you're like, I don't care, I know what the connection is. But you know what? Maybe I'll do that. So yeah, you could cut the old bad wires, tape your new wires to it, pull them out down here where they were supposed to be, and effectively you just, that way you'd run your wires, same hole. So I guess I can't do that, my explanation, but if somebody installed it right, that's what you could do. So let me stop here, but basically you see what I'm doing. I'm going to pull this out, and I will probably have to find a coat hanger, which is impossible, or a piece of baling wire, which been done enough derbies, there's still baling wire around here. Okay, I'm going to pause it, not really pause it, stop it, and go on in a moment. Okay, it turns out these Ford connectors are easy to take apart. You see the red thing that's already sticking out, and there's a small tab on top where my finger's moving. You just pull that out, move it aside to where this can slide out, save it. And then you can see all the fingers right next to the terminals that you just have to pry out of the way and slide loose. I almost did it. Don't forget to take a photo of this so you can tell. Hey, I can do that while I'm working, can't I? Yeah, snap. Cool. Yeah, then you do that. Pull the wires out. Put the color-coded wires back in place just like they were. And then, well, actually, sorry. You can do that after you run your wires down through the hole, crawling on your head under the dash where it's fun. Maybe that's why he did it. He didn't want to crawl under his head. But anyways, I'll get to that. I'll get the wires ran, or I might stop and show you how that's done. Okay, so I managed to take this piece of... Oh, did it slide out? Yeah, I slid it out a little bit. Well, we'll push it back down in there, hopefully. Yeah, it's there. It just moved. So, dangly, dangly. You can see it's through the tube. I managed to get that through there. It's a leftover that was sitting in the seat from when I didn't even show you this. The Reese. Does that light up? Yeah, the brakes are on. Yeah, the Reese electric brake controller for my trailer. Lost my train of thought because I had to put the brakes on the derby trailer, which is actually sitting right there because, or I called it the derby trailer. That's what it was, because the van I was towing weighed too much money. Yeah, weighed too much money. Anyways, you're dummy. Yeah, way too much, and it wouldn't stop. So I had this piece of wire. So now try and tape it as flat as you can. You see here, I looped one piece back. It's probably gonna bite me in the butt of this wire. So that's basically forming a hook. I try to do that most of the time. The only reason I didn't do it with these wires, which maybe I should have, because it might have made it go smoother now that I think about it. Yeah, probably would have been smoother if the terminals were going down backwards, but don't fall out the door switch. Yeah, that way they're hooked, and like sometimes no matter if you pull on it really hard, you'll pull the tape off. So start feeding it down there, and we'll see if it goes. I think it's already giving me trouble. Don't want to go through that hole. We'll go through the second hole. We'll find out. I might be doing this all over again. Or I might just say, heck with it. Yeah, it's dumb. So upon closer inspection, and besides having a little bit of a trouble getting those wires down there, now you can see the thing clearly. But it was actually hard to get through this piece. So I thought I would just do it the other way and take all this off, which is these two screws, loosen them up. Don't take them all the way loose because they will fall down your column because they just go on here. They can end up falling inside the column, which is a real pain in the butt. But anyways, so now I will have to edit this video even more because I have to go to the rec yard and get the piece that goes on the front here that it hooked to, because the catches, or the park stop, that explains why it falls out of park every once in a while. I guess maybe that's the reason Fords have this problem. Well, that's broke, popped off, and then that is completely worn out. Plus, it's got a hole in it, and I don't like it. So I guess it's a perfect opportunity to stop and go search all my U-Pull-It yards for a new shifter piece. Kind of weird how it works. It's just inner tube that it turns, and everything's loose. Bearing's in good condition, whatever, but could stand to be re-greased. So you won't see this, but it's gonna be a couple days, and I will go get new parts. Okay, many days later, because last weekend I went to the U-Pull-It yards, and every single one of these trucks that I was able to luckily find, the column was ripped apart. So I'm going to have to reuse this part, as you can maybe possibly see. I've already JB welded where it's broke. This piece here, brand new machine piece, came from Bronco Junkyard out of, it's Brockyard Graveyard, sorry, out of Michigan. Yeah. Bronco pieces fit, except the only thing I found out is this is 77 and 78, 79 columns are different. There are some similar pieces, blah blah blah, whatever. I did get a new one of these off of eBay. See, no more hole. I had to reuse my shifter and try and sharpen up the detint on it to where it catches. But anywho, here's the old one. You can see the hole. The one pain in the neck was there is a piston, 2 springs, and a cap retainer that goes over the springs. That is a bear to get in. The brand new pieces that it came with, this new spring and this new dowel pin, cotter key, not cotter key, dowel pin, split. I forget what you call those stupid, I hate these things, by the way. Where'd it go? There it is. That, whatever you call it, I can't think right now. It's got a dumb name, I think. Anyways, anytime China makes those, they're never the right size, so yeah, it wouldn't fit. The other ones were reusable, so good shape. The spring was way too long, and the problem is it is a bear getting in that, because the problem is you see that hole down there that goes through the backside. That piston has to go through that, and trying to aim that in there is nearly impossible. It was a lot of work in that in. But anyways, here's the new parts, so I can start all over again. Pack the bearing up, it's good to go. So yeah, this is gonna be impossible to do with two hands, so what I'll do is I'll go back to feeding the new turn signal switch through everything, and then I'll come back to this video. Okay, here's it fed through and tightened down. I'm sorry it would have been impossible to do this with one hand, but you can see the wires through, and I threw away the idea of running it with a piece of wire down there. Basically what I did is, while these three pieces were loose, pushed up against this, I just fed the wires through. They're small and they went right through. The only problem you'll have is once this is on there, it gets kind of tight, so and then when you're sliding this back on, it wants to pinch the wires, just make sure they're all the way to the left, because there's a big old cutout here. The other pain in the neck I noticed is the inner piece of the shifter column that this is attached to. It can pull way out, and then trying to get that lined up with the cogs down at the bottom of the column so it'll shift are a pain in the neck. These screws, once you get those set, like if you'll set it on there, one will push out because it's not over the column in the slot. Make sure you tighten those down equally. If at any point it starts cocking, it's a good possibility that it slipped out of the slot it goes in, so you have to loosen it back up. And like I say, never take them all the way off. But there you go, it's on. Now it's just left this sliding the bearing in there, the circlips and everything, and it'll be good to go. I can slide that up in there, put the 4 screws in it. I still got to put the that back on there, 1 screw to go in there, and hopefully this thing will light up, since this one does have a light bulb in it. So I'll let you know if it works, so in a few. Okay, there's the installed product. I had to take this whole thing back off again before I stuck the switch in there with the 4 screws, one over here, actually 5 if you count the piece that holds this on. But anyways, this little light blue screw here, it got over, like I said, keep it to the left, it got over on the right side and it wound itself out, and there's a loop there. But your best bet to make sure that it's installed properly is you should be able to, before you install the switch, it should be able to slide in and out. You pull on the wires down here, and you should be able to slide it back and forth like nothing. If you have any resistance, check where your wires are ran. Like I said, because of this shifter, and the column has a big old cutout so the shifter can move. It's one thing you want to make sure that the wires don't get over there and get snagged. If you get a wire that's way too short, they're not perfectly lined up. That's just how it is, the switch I bought. But if you got one that's like super short, and like the one was, you know that, oh, it's on the wrong side, it's caught in something. So all I have to do is finish it up. And if you remember when I said take a picture of this connector so you can get the color coordinated wires back, and then it can be tested. I have a scary fear that this thing's not going to work for some reason, that I have other issues, because that switch looked too good, even though the whole reason of changing it was so the wires wouldn't be rubbing. I don't know, something doesn't feel right, so we'll see once it's all put together, back together, if it works and if my fears were true. So, like, edit to next video shot. Okay, I've just tested it before I put together. You can see the mess of wires down here, and lo and behold, surprise, it works. That one flashes. That one's been broke. It's got some corrosion contacts on the thing, but and even if I turn the key on, it didn't used to do that at all. I was getting nothing out of it. For a while when I was wiggling the wires that were sticking out here, it would kind of work, and then it died. So woohoo, it works. So now I can be legal again. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Helpful for you, that sounds like a good word. The only difference I noticed between this is I got one horn thingy here. This one has two horn thingies. And I didn't hook the wire in the connector because I had no idea where it went, even though there was nothing on the other end of the connector. And I thought maybe I'll do something with this later, so I left it out. So this one has two things. I don't know, since this is toe cutter, and toe cutter does have a siren eventually coming in, I guess I could put that to the siren too. I don't know. That sounds like a dumb idea. Whatever. It works. Finished putting the steering wheel and everything back on, which is just a lot easier. You just slam the steering wheel on. I scratched it so I know how to put it on straight because I have it's been cockeyed for a while and that drives me nuts. So there you go. Like I said, hopefully it's helpful. See ya.